I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what you've learned in your travels and what are some of the common elements that you might find in street music around the world? And are there any sort of peculiarities that are regional?
Well, let me qualify that I really didn't write about busking throughout the world. I'm sure that you can go to Sydney. I'm sure that you can go to Beijing, Singapore, all kinds of places. But I kind of limited my scope to North America, including Canada, maybe not so much Mexico, and in Europe, as it turns out, because a lot of the artists that I think were key buskers, even American artists as expatriates. A couple of stories there. I did talk to a few British people, one of whom was Billy Bragg. And Billy told me that he now plays major festivals and theaters, of course. But if he doesn't get a sound check, that's no problem. He always was able to wing it on the streets. He can wing it on stage. It might just take a little bit of tuning and peg turning, twirling, and suddenly he's in tune. He learned the spontaneity of that by busking in London. I had a few artists who were Americans who went to London and went to Paris to busk. Mojo Nixon, who sadly died soon after I interviewed him, was telling me that he wanted to join the Clash after college. I don't know if he was being his flippant, funny self or what, but maybe in his mind's eye, he wanted to join the Clash. At any rate, he went to Britain and started playing in the Tube. And Madeline Peyroux, who was a jazz singer, has several excellent albums, laid-back acoustic vocal jazz. She was raised by kind of a bohemian hippie single mom who took her to Paris during her childhood and took her to Cannes for the festival and basically told her, hey, sink or swim. Sing for these people, see what you can do. And she was singing in front of French Parisian cafes. And that's really how she cut her teeth. Coincidentally, in Paris, she met an American musician, name escapes me, but somebody who played with Dylan, who was an actual Dylan contemporary, who was now in Paris and somehow had a lot of money, enough to have his own boat and his own Mercedes-Benz. So whereas she was used to thumbing a ride or walking or taking Parisian tubes or subways, she was now riding to her gigs in a barge and a Mercedes-Benz. And she also told me that during the pandemic, busking saved her and probably saved a lot of people. I know I was starved for concerts as a concert goer, starved for seeing faces out there. But she lives in New York, and she would go out into the streets where it was safe enough to, at a distance, to busk for people. And she missed playing, and that kept her creative juices flowing. And it probably did a lot for the people who felt isolated. That all the concerts were canceled and all the live events. Just to have that kind of eye to eye, human contact with a busker was life saving on both sides.